Hello, and welcome to C-Suite Secrets. I'm your host, Heather Parsons. I'm a serial entrepreneur, fractional CFO, and a business value strategist. I've spent years juggling business and family life, all while helping entrepreneurs scale, optimize cash flow, and build real financial success. On our show, we bring you real conversations with founders, executives, and operators about what actually moves the needle in their business. No fluff, no filler, just smart strategy, systems that work, and insights that you can put to use right away. And with that, let's dive right in.
Hi, Heather.
Hey, thank you so much for being
How
here.
are you? Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, glad you're here.
Yeah.
For folks that don't know you, I would love it if you could give us a brief introduction about yourself and how you became an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur at that, and where you got started.
That's a long story. I'm CEO MYai Robotics. We're Atlanta-based artificial intelligence company. We're an human-first AI company. So all of our products are driven from a human perspective. I've been in the tech space for over 20 years now, about 22 years in the tech space. I actually have an accounting background. I got into tech by accident, actually. When the baby bells were broken down in the 90s, I happened to be one of the selects in Atlanta, and I was providing local telephone services in the Atlanta area. Unfortunately, Bell South at that time really played a very funny trick on everybody. When they were forced to sell us their lines as resellers, they promised to offer us billing services as part of the program. But
Ah,
when we launched, there were no billing program. All of us,
sounds
we
familiar.
were selling services and we couldn't bill customers. Let me tell you, that was one lesson that I will never forget. But what was interesting when I went into that business, I went in to provide both cable and phone services to customers. And that was saved because a lot of my competitors in the business just went out and disappeared. Because I was partnering with Dish Network at that time, I was able to transition completely to satellite TV. Right about that same time, President Clinton signed the legislation releasing GPS technology for commercial application. And that just opened the door for me. I started looking into tech. I started looking at the GPS technology, and that's how I got into tech. Long story short, I started a GPS company, developed student tracking solution. I created the first integration of RFID and GPS product. Because what we needed to do was integrate RFID for students getting on and off school buses and integrate into GPS. So GPS, the RFID will identify the student getting on and off, send it to the GPS. We notify parents when your child get on the bus, when your child get off the bus. A lot of people might think that's just a simple product, but it was a serious solution at that time, especially in Georgia. When it gets really hot in the summer, school bus drivers were leaving kids on the buses. And these kids
Yep.
can fall asleep when they leave school. And we had a few deaths in Georgia at that time. So I jumped in and said, this is a problem we've got to solve. And we went in and integrated RFID and GPS. We're able to track students getting on and off buses, notifying parents. So if a child falls asleep and didn't get off the bus stop that's assigned to the ID badge send a message to the GPS unit. GPS unit, look at the location, contact the school, send a message to the parents your child did not get off the bus. So this was solving a problem. We ended up distributing the product to schools in Los Angeles, in Dubai, Lebanon, Brazil, and Georgia. So it was quite an interesting time for me, and that's how I got into technology, and things have evolved ever since. And here we are in the AI space.
I love it. That's a great problem to solve.
Yes, indeed.
I don't think, as a mom with kids, you don't think about that until it becomes a problem,
Yes.
right? So the little boy that lives across the street, he fell asleep on the bus and they found him whenever they went to park.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
like,
I mean, just imagine it. These kids are talking. In fact, you have kids that they're so involved in the conversation, they follow their friends off the bus at the wrong bus
yeah,
stops, and nobody pays any attention to until the parents comes home at 6 p.m. Hey, where's my child? So when you see the
yep,
police vehicle in your neighborhood around 4 5 p.m. driving around and they're looking for these kids. And so that was a
yep.
problem we solved at that time, and
That's
then
great.
move forward into developing a national emergency system for the Nigerian police force. That was a very, very interesting project for me because we were also using GPS to help people report crime and police proximity to reported crimes to respond efficiently and expeditiously. So it was quite interesting, and I transitioned from that into the AI business.
I love it. Those sound like really important projects. So I'd love, you mentioned something a moment ago about being a human first company. I'd love to dive in and talk about with so much chatter around AI and how AI may replace people. I know you and I have talked a little bit about that's not my view. I don't think it's yours either. I'd love for you to talk about being a human first company and what that looks like for the future of AI.
I usually respond with one line sentence when people bring this subject up. AI is very, very intelligent, can do a lot of things, super intelligent, will probably be more intelligent than humans. But the question I always ask, and the one line statement I make all the time, or question that I ask people all the time, can AI make a judgment call?
No,
That's
I
where
mean, really and
that's
truly.
why AI cannot replace humans. Because every day in our lives, even in your job, down to the last person on your company's totem pole, you sometimes must make a judgment call that has nothing to do with your everyday responsibility. And AI is not capable of doing that. AI, there are two things that separate AI, humans from AI: wisdom, which is judgment call, and creativity. AI can only create what humans tells it to create, or what human prompts it to create, or ideas that have already been fomented by humans, and AI can bring it to life. I honestly do not believe AI will ever replace humans. At the end of the day, what we're going to find, which is where we are, my approach is AI will augment the things that we do and make us better than we've ever been, but it will never replace us.
I couldn't agree more. I truly believe that AI, people who don't understand AI and don't get on the train for understanding AI, I think they're going to be replaced by people who do. I think
Absolutely.
we've seen this time and time again. You brought up Bell South.
Right.
That takes me back a minute.
Right.
You know, I think about the .com era. Same thing happened. I think about us
Yes.
going to the cloud, you know,
Yes, I
doing
was
all of the,
there. I was
yeah,
there.
me too, believe it or not, doing all these transformational
Right.
projects. We've been here and done this before.
Yes. It's the same story. It's the same story.
It is, and I think those of us who are willing to be part of that change as it takes place and we see it as the innovation that it is rather than a threat, I think you'll always come out more successful with that.
Yes. That's
You know,
I have to agree with you, and I think what I'm seeing in the market today is a lot of AI products that are designed to enhance what humans already do. If you look at the
right.
reports that have come out of McKinsey and some of the consulting firms, they've stated that most of the businesses that have adopted AI have not been able to see improvement in their businesses as it relates to AI products they've deployed or implemented. That doesn't mean AI is not helping. It just means the marginal difference is not having the impact that everybody expects to have. And we shouldn't
Right.
be surprised because most of the AI products on the market today are enhancement tools, not truly solving core problems that businesses are facing. Look, yes, AI is faster, is quicker, can think better. It's an enhancement to what your team does. But when it makes mistakes, you need your team to manage that AI. And that's where ultimately AI may replace some people, but it's not going to replace all of us by no measure of the imagination. It's going to be very, very smart, much smarter than humans, much intelligent than humans. But like I stated in the beginning, can AI make a judgment call?
Yeah.
Aha.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And I love what you're saying there about that value. As I work with entrepreneurs, as we look at things from both a financial perspective and a value strategy perspective, I always go back to the business case, right? So adopting AI is wonderful.
Mhm.
I like it. Emails are much easier to read these days,
Yes.
you know, but when it comes to investment in a business, I'm always looking for what's the business case? What are we really trying to achieve? Are we trying to just say we're an early adopter in AI or we're doing all these things whenever somebody in one of our offshore locations could do the same thing just as efficiently and have that judgment you're talking about? Or are we really solving true problems? And I'd love your take on that around, how do we help entrepreneurs get to solving true problems in their business, not just doing a little staff augmentation or automating things that they should have probably automated 5 or 10 years ago.
Well, let's be clear. There are two things you can do with AI. You can enhance performance or you can solve problems. Right?
Absolutely.
Most everything on the market today is enhancing performance, improving what we already do and how we do it. Because it's a little bit more difficult to solve problems with AI by itself. There are still certain things that you must still do with core technology. And so building the technology that you wrap AI around it can solve a lot of technology problems more so than enhancing. So the thing that you've seen in the market, it's like any technology, it goes through phases. The first phase of AI is one that is leaving all of us speechless. Wow, it takes me an hour to do something and AI does it in 5 minutes, right? An
Absolutely.
improvement, right?
Vibe coding.
5 minutes, it's done. Whoa! Then there's a slight error in what that AI did, and then you gotta spend time to fix it. So AI
Right.
hasn't really replaced you. It's only improved your performance capability. However, if there's a core problem, fundamental problem in your business, which in our case is what we try to solve for sales organizations, right? Very key fundamental problem that affects your entire operation, and AI cannot solve it. You need technology to solve it. Ultimately, those are the AI companies that will be standing 5 years from now. Because let me be honest with you, and I've seen this before, like you said, these things is like a cycle. Even Sam Altman said it maybe a week or two ago when he said most AI companies today are just demo companies, right?
Hmm.
If you haven't
They
paid,
are.
if you haven't paid attention to that, it's time to pay attention. What Sam is telling you is that you're demoing all the prompts that they're gonna build within OpenAI and license out to businesses, and you are going to go out of business. What you're doing today, you're demoing all those prompts, you're building the ecosystem, you're getting customers to become comfortable using AI. Once the audience is established, stable, and ready to pay, OpenAI is going to build those prompts, a menu of prompts for businesses to come and license, and you're going to be out of business. Look, I'll give you a quick example. I got into AI in 2022, late arrival, because I was busy building this huge project, National Emergency System for Nigeria. And we started building AI personal assistant. If you go on YouTube and you look on a page, you see all the tools that we build for AI as a personal assistant to plan your vacation, to order your meals, to do everything that you see. Gemini, Copilot, everything that you see, their personal assistant tools doing today, we were doing in 2022, 2023. We were near completion of that project when I said to my staff, you know what? I'm going to pull the plug on this project. And everybody was like, are you kidding me? This AI can perform magic. It can do all. I say, I know. But what is it that we've done that Llama, OpenAI, Anthropic, or Gemini cannot do?
That's a good point
Tell
right
me
there.
what is it that we've done for as AI as a personal assistant that they cannot do? There was only one thing that we did that was unique, which we're still using today. But everything else you see on the market today, oh, AI can write your story for you. AI can, we had all of that on the table, ready to launch when I pulled the plug. And I said to them, my experience is taking me back to the dot-com age when Facebook came out, when Google came out, and there is this massive ecosystem of app developers building apps for. Do you remember that?
I do.
Where
Yeah.
where are they today?
Well, and the thing is, to your point, they either got bought or ran out of business.
We're not
So if you had
business.
something super unique, you were hot to be acquired,
Exactly.
right? But if you didn't
You were
and you
gone.
weren't in that
You
position,
were you were a Me Too product. You're gone.
yep,
And we're
absolutely.
gonna see that happen in the AI space in the next 2 years.
Absolutely.
The
To your
industry
point,
is
I
going
think
to
we
shift.
see the
Yeah,
cycle.
we're already talking about the bubble in the AI space
Hmm.
over price, over valuation of all these AI tools, all of them driven by just writing prompts, no core underlying technology. Why OpenAI, which is not profitable, which needs to be profitable, cannot put a team of prompt engineers together to write all the prompts for all these applications and license them to businesses and put you out of business. Look, if you create an AI solution that help me monitor my email, right? And you're
Right.
Joe Blow company in Silicon Valley, and OpenAI announced tomorrow that they've just created a product that will help me monitor my email and do all of those things. Who will I choose, OpenAI or you?
Exactly. And Microsoft's not going to be far
It's
behind,
not
and
going to
they
be
already
far
have the
behind.
market
Yeah.
cornered
Oh,
on the
Microsoft is
email.
already coming up with a menu of AI prompts and tools that people can use. So you truly have to build a core technology product that you wrap your AI solution around it, and you really need to focus on solving problems. Enhancement is something that the foundational companies can do all day long with their eyes closed. You have to solve a problem that gives you proprietary IP rights. The key is IP rights, where you own how it's working and what it does. Then you have a chance of surviving in this space. Now, to be honest with you, those are the companies that are struggling today, but those are the ones that will last for the longest. The companies that are making the fizzles and the fireballs, they're blowing up everywhere today. But the ones that are building real core products are struggling because businesses are still apprehensive about the adoption of AI and how it would impact their businesses. So the market for AI is kind of interesting and on shaky ground, trying to figure itself out right now, from my perspective, at least.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's going to be a very different landscape 5 years from now, 3 to 5.
Yes,
And we'll just continue to see things change and evolve. So I'd
exactly.
love to hear your thoughts for entrepreneurs, for business owners who are trying to adopt some AI usage, trying to be part of that? What are some of the things that they can do to improve in their business and actually get to solving some of those real problems rather than just doing these small enhancements?
Well, the small enhancements are not bad. What I'm saying is that they're going to be replaced. The smaller companies that are building those prompt enhancement tools are going to be replaced by the foundational company in 2, 3 years. They're going to be gone, but the enhancements are going to be there. You need it. You
Right.
need to get it. At some point in time, you're going to need to use somebody else for it. But those enhancements are very important. AI is going to be a co-worker for a lot of things that we do. It's going to help your employees be better. The willingness to explore and to invest is really, it's almost as if, how would I put it? Imagine that you send your staff on training on an annual basis that helps to improve what they do and how they do it. Now imagine that AI is taking the place of that training class because AI is helping your staff to improve what they do and how they do it on a daily basis. That's going to be a fixture in the AI space. The other thing, though, that you have to look at, and that's also going to go to um, AI companies, at least the tech companies that are building AI, is that you're not just building AI to enhance what people already do, but you try to understand what challenges and what core problems businesses are facing. And some of these problems are industry wide. And when you can
Yep.
solve an industry wide problem, then you've really created a winning product that can give you that's sustainable, that can allow you to sustain your operation and your business. And that's the approach that we're taking at Myai Robotics with all the things that we're doing internally. We have a number of AI projects that we're working on. Outside of the AI sales tools, we also have a search engine that does something quite unique and solve a major problem with the internet. So for me, for us, when we abandoned the AI sales assistant, when I pulled the plug, we had to go back to the drawing table and say, okay, let's look at what's in this tool that we can still continue to use. Bless you. That we can still
Thank
continue
you.
to use, and how can we use it to solve a problem? We had a product called Artificial Intelligence Remote Performance Capability, APEC. What the tool is able to do, you sitting with me right now, we're doing an interview, and you ask me for something, information that I don't have, or it's on my desktop at the house, and I need to get my hands on it. I could actually instruct my AI to go to my desktop at home, look in my folder, grab this particular file, and email it to me.
Wow.
That's remote performance capability. So that's solving a problem. That's not an enhancement. So you're giving AI that remote performance capability. And so we took that tool out of a personal assistant and now we use it in a sales agent solution. So when we pull back, when we sat down and say, okay, what problems can we solve in the marketplace? And we focus on business revenue. What are challenges companies are having with revenue and how can AI help? We saw a lot of AI tools that are being used to make phone calls, to make appointments, to book calls, to do all AI sales tools. And I looked and I said, well, sales definitely is a big problem because everybody's focused on sales. But are they doing it right? That's a different ballgame because you have all the techies building all these tools and all of them prompt driven. And I said to myself, in sales, AI cannot be a conclusive application for you to close sales. If your business depends on a sales team, AI replacing a sales team is going to be a far-fetched solution using prompt. Unless you're highly inexperienced in sales since the beginning of time, there's something called buyer's remorse.
Yep.
As long as buyer's remorse exists, you cannot eliminate humans from the sales process. So you can write the best, the most beautiful prompt you want. At the end of the day, that buyer's remorse can only be handled by humans. So we decided, okay, that's a problem. We did further research and discovered that in fact, 65% of all businesses, sales organizations that depend on sales teams for their revenue were struggling with sales agent retention. So you ask yourself a question. If you have all these fantastic AI tools that are generating leads, qualifying leads, ideal customer profiles, and you're still giving these leads to your sales agent and you're still having sales agent retention problem, then what's the problem? An ICP, ideal customer profile, does not necessarily mean that customer wants to buy. So your
That's
agents are
true.
still going out in the field, talking to customers that are kicking the tires, talking to customers that are just looking. And that's frustrating sales agent. And so the data on the market today says 50% of all salespeople say they're not happy with their jobs. So we took this problem and decided to build what we call a human AI teammates to partner with sales teams. So they don't replace your sales teams, but they become an advanced sales tool that goes out in the field. They're highly trained. We were building agentic AI before the AI market started talking about agentic AI. So we were building agentic AI as human AI teammates, trained to perform and do everything that a human sales agent can do, from giving presentation to doing discovery, matching needs to solution, overcoming objection, closing sales, but passing the closed sales to a human sales rep to go hold the
Yep.
customer by hand, close the contract, and lock the customer down. AI cannot do that. And
Yeah. And I think
that's why we call them teammates.
I love that, and I think I heard somebody talking not long ago that with the increased use of AI, people are just going to start really buying from people that they like, know, and trust more than they already do. So if it's all AI, who do you like, know, and trust?
Exactly. That's the point. But here's the secret though. Surprisingly, I have something to tell you. I was going to write something on LinkedIn about this based on some of the research that we did in house. This is going to shock everybody. One of the things that salespeople will tell you is that customer lie a lot. That customer
True.
mislead them quite a bit. Do you know what we found out?
What's that?
Customers don't lie to AI.
Really? Because there's no
No
embarrassment there.
embarrassment. Amazing discovery that we found out as we were testing human AI teammates and sending them out. Customers were being honest about whether they can or cannot buy your product, whether they need your product, they don't need your product, if they can afford it or cannot. They were being honest. So AI became very effective in with overcoming the objection, in guiding customers into making buying decisions. That was shocking to us that that could be a powerful advantage to having AI as an advanced sales agent get customers that are ready to buy to talk to your sales team. So your sales team are closing more, they're closing better, they're making more money, and they're helping you drive your revenue. And that was surprising to us internally as we were doing our research.
That's huge, and that paired with something you said a moment ago, I think really makes a big difference. So you talked about focusing on business revenue
Yes.
with your products. One of the things, especially from working in the tech space, being a finance professional in that space, there's a million great ideas out
A
there. But
million.
it's like, how do you justify using them? How do you really represent that cost in a way that somebody like me or somebody like a CEO can understand and really correlate to this is going to bring me more money.
Right.
This is going to solve my real
Right.
problems. And it sounds like you all are doing a great job of that. And I love how you're talking about helping other businesses do the same.
You know, for me, I haven't been in business for so long myself. I'm not a techie. So my approach to this is different from when you have a guy who's just a techie and all the skills to develop all this product. Yes, I'm surrounded by techies, but I have to think about what are the true business cases that we can make for a product. For example, it's one thing that your AI goes out and gives presentation to customers and talk to customers, but I mentioned something earlier. Customers don't like to AI, right?
Yeah.
How do you take advantage of that? The way we've taken advantage of that, let's say you subscribe to a service, you send a campaign out to talk to 300 customers, and only 50 customers made an appointment. That means 250 customers made the decision not to make an appointment with your reps and not to buy. You as a business, you're sitting down there wondering why, right?
Right.
Won't every business want to know why? Out of 300 customers, 250 of them did not make a decision to buy, but they did talk to your AI agent. They did go through the presentation process. So we built something called Curation AI. Curation AI is a decision sentiment tool. It's different from sentiment analysis because what we do is we capture all sales conversations. And then for those customers that didn't make a decision, we use a curation tool to detect decision sentiment. What's a decision sentiment? A decision sentiment is the moment you lost the sale, the moment the customer make a decision not to go forward, what was the sentiment that triggered that decision? We capture that sentiment, then we curate all 250 customers that did not buy, and we say, what are the top three reasons that these 250 customers did not buy? So when you're doing your remarketing to this group, you know precisely why they did not buy. It's not just sentiment, it's the decision sentiment. What is the decision? They don't have enough money. It's not the right time. You don't have it in the right color. So you know
Mhm.
precisely how to remarket to this group. And that's very important. So for a CEO that's thinking, okay, I want to deploy AI, how do I make sure this is worth it? Is this an increased cost to my business? Does it make sense to me? How would this help me? Now you're realizing not only can AI go see 500 customers a day versus your sales agent that can see 50 customers a day. Now you're seeing 10 times more customers. AI is bringing you only ready to buy customers, which improves your business significantly. It's capturing insightful decisions, sentiments that guides how to capture those customers that did not buy. All of those things drive the decision for a business on whether to use AI or not to use AI. And what that leads me back to, you got to solve a problem. You got
Absolutely.
to
That
solve a
solves the
problem.
big one, because as an entrepreneur, we get into a lot of different things. One of the things I do with clients a lot is review their products and their offers.
Right.
So if like in the CFO space, for example, if you're reaching out to 500 people
Hmm.
and to your example, only, you know, 50 of those take you up on the service
Right.
and the majority of it's price and they're not really ready yet,
Right.
offering a different service that actually meets their needs still fills your funnel,
Absolutely.
so you can make decisions based on that.
Exactly. Capturing that decision sentiment is so critical and so important because it makes the product not just a sales tool, it becomes an tool for you to capture insights that help you make good business decisions. And one of the things that we've done also internally, because we know AI is new, everybody's apprehensive, everybody's on their toes about whether to use AI or not, we make the decision very easy for businesses. is performance based. You have zero cost to use an AI tool. You will go out and do presentation to all your customers. If you will only use your tokens, if your customer actually accept the presentation to talk to the AI. So there's no cost for you to come and use a tool unless an AI is actually giving a presentation on your behalf. You have no cost. So adoption really has zero cost to you. And when you think about what's coming after, are just customers that have made decisions to buy, not just customers that are kicking the tire. It's going to help your business in the long term.
For sure. And that's how you convince somebody like me that it's a good decision, right? Because at the end of the day, you need that reassurance that you're not just sending money into the AI black hole,
That's correct,
right?
because that's what a lot of companies are doing today, and that's why McKinsey said companies are pulling back because they're not seeing the result, and so we want this to be result driven. So there's no reason for you to pull back. There's no reason to think you're going to lose money. You don't lose. In fact, even on a given month, it's a subscription base, and you have a $500 a month subscription to send AI out on sales calls. By the end of the month, AI only talks to enough people that you've only used $400 of your money. So you have $100 left in this month's subscription. We allow you to carry forward into the subsequent month. So you
Wow.
never lose any money. I mean, it's just a
Right.
win-win for any business that want to grow their revenue.
I like it. I think that's really smart, especially for folks who maybe don't have a big sales team
Yep.
or sales isn't their thing. As a
Right.
fractional CFO, sales is difficult. I'm used to solving problems in a different way and not used to being a salesy person. So it makes loads and loads of sense to me what y'all are talking about. And I
Exactly.
love your approach with AI and business in general.
Right.
As I work with entrepreneurs, getting to that, understanding what is your actual problem and being honest and transparent about that is huge.
It's very
And then it
important.
allows,
Very, very
yeah.
important. I mean, this product there are other tools similar to what we do. I think what's unique, and I was talking about AirPack earlier, remote performance capability, the ability for you not just to put an AI on your website to engage customer, but the ability for you to send an AI on sales call. Imagine you sending it out and say, hey, I need you to go visit 500 customers like a sales agent. That's a huge difference. That's the core technology that we built behind this product. And that's why I keep saying it's those companies that wrap AI around core technology that are going to be here 2, 3 years from now because you have IP rights that the OpenAIs and the Anthropic cannot take away from you because you have that core technology that belongs to you. So with that tool, I mean, you take SMS messages, for example, okay?
Hmm.
A lot of consumer facing businesses use SMS to
Right.
reach customers. But when you send SMS out to customers, how does it work? The customer gets your SMS, they click on it, it opens a link. Either takes them to a website, to a click funnel, or some other form. SMS is the most powerful marketing medium in the market today because it has a 98% open rate. So imagine that 160 characters has a sales agent behind it. That when you click on it, it's a sales agent that you get that has a knowledge base about your entire operation, about your entire product and services, and comes up on the phone. Instead of a link to a website, you get an avatar that looks like you and I that say, "Hi, I'm John. I'm with AT&T. How are you doing today? Thank you for accepting the SMS message. I'm here to talk about new iPhone 17 and the discounts that we're offering." From an SMS, from clicking
Right.
on a 160 character message, you get a sales agent. That's the technology. That's what's behind our business. And we think we're going to transform sales, period, with our product.
I would agree with you on that, because I think a lot of it is we have a lot of tools today.
Mhm.
And especially from a small to medium sized business perspective, it's getting through the noise
Right. That's
to
right.
figure out what actually does solve those problems, whether it's in the sales space or the finance space, whatever it is,
Right.
and being smart on how we're making decisions there.
That's
So I love how you're approaching it. And I love that, as entrepreneurs, we oftentimes buy these lists. We want to reach out to people. We want to tell them how great we are and
right.
that they should buy our product. But it's how do you do that?
How do you do that? Imagine,
Yeah.
for example, a doctor's office, right? Revisit is very important for your practice that your customers are coming back for checkups and those kind of things. Now imagine you take an AI tool such as the one we have and you send SMS out to all your customers. Hey, this is Dr. Fitz. Thank you so much for coming back. We haven't seen you in the last 6 months. We want you to come in for your next checkup. And suddenly you're driving customers into the business, all from a 160 character SMS message. And that's the difference.
Right. And it's one of the cheapest ways to reach out as
It
well.
is one of the cheapest way to reach out. So we just turn SMS into an amazing product right now. And so we're getting ready to introduce this to the market and really just let everybody know it's a game changer.
I love it. Well, I can't wait to learn more about it as you move
Yes,
through that
definitely.
process and
We're
launch.
excited about it, you know. And as I mentioned earlier, there are a number of projects that we're working on internally. When we started building the curation tools, what dawned on us was, look, there's a lot of businesses that want to know why customers are not buying their service or their product. And we're not probably not going to reach 10% of the customers that need this. So how do we make this tool available to everybody? And that led us into building a search engine, which is quite unique. It's an authentication and opinion search engine. We actually ended up solving two problems in one. Because for me today, the biggest problem I see on the internet today is fake information, deep fakes,
Oh, yeah.
videos and images. And it's going to be a major crisis in 2026 with all of the video generation tools that just came to life in the last 60, 90 days. And people are creating incredible stuff that looks so real, you can't tell the difference. So we're going to launch in the next 45 days the first online instant authentication tool on the market and opinion search tool. As we were building the opinion search tool, which businesses can go online, come to our search engine and say, hey, I want to know what are the top three reasons customers are not buying my product? And the AI agent goes to all the social media platforms and mind conversations that people are having around your product. When it mines those conversations, it applies sentiment tools to detect what are the three dominant points that people were making. And it comes back to you and say, here are the top three reasons people are saying why they're not buying your product. Or you come in and say, what are the top three reasons? What are the reasons customers are buying my competitor's product and not mine? The AI
Yeah.
goes out and take your competitor's product's name and go online and look at all the conversation people are having about your competitors. So come back to you and say, here are the reason people are buying your competitor's product and not yours. So now you're sitting there and say, oh, okay, now we can make some changes to match them. So this is what the opinion search tool does. And you can use it not just for product or business. You look at politics in the last two cycles, all the polls were wrong, right?
Yep.
Why? Because people are now very adept at deceiving pollsters. You ask them a question and they give you the wrong answers, but when they go to the polling booth, they do something different. However, when you go through their conversations online, they're telling exactly how they feel. So now you have an opinion search tool that you can say, hey, what are people in my constituency? What are they saying? What do they like? What do they don't like? So you're actually capturing, and the same can apply to government policies. Okay, and you look at Donald Trump. Just the president just announced $100,000 for H-1B visa. They can go online and search opinion. What does the public thinks? and they can search for those opinions, and they can curate the opinion and know exactly what the public thinks and what decision to make. AI is a powerful product. It's a matter of how do we use it and what do we use it for.
That's very true. And I think a lot of, to your point, a lot of this misinformation that's out there is really difficult,
It's very
especially
difficult.
for like our teenage kids,
Yes.
right? So our daughters are in that teenage to early 20-year-old phase, and them trying to figure out
What's
what's,
real, what's not real. It's really tough. And the way we're doing this, it's free for everybody. It's gonna be at your fingertip on your mobile phone. You just click, upload image, video, 15, 20 seconds will tell you whether it's real, fake, manipulated or not. So everybody can actually have factual information at their fingertips. And we're very excited about coming out with this product as well.
yeah, that's exciting, because one of the things that as a user of AI, I'm always nervous about is it decides sometimes it makes up its own information. It really does.
Hallucination, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a big one with AI. And so it's one of the areas that I've written about in the past and I've talked about extensively. I'm very big on LinkedIn. I'm very opinionated when it comes to AI. I see a lot of, I tell customers, I wrote, I believe, 2 weeks ago, where I'm telling when you are adopting an AI tool, the first thing you must ask is are the what are the tools on the AI that stops it from hallucinating?
Right.
What tools have you implemented, or how have you written your prompt to make sure that AI has guardrails? In all of our applications, we have what we call cascading guardrails, which means throughout the entire process that the AI must perform whatever you need it to do. It's facing different types of guardrails that say, you can't do this, this is what you can do. You can't go there, this is where you need to stay. You can't say this because it has nothing to do with what you're talking about. So you have to do all of these things to make sure AI is giving you the right information. So there are a lot of AI tools. You must ask if you're adopting an AI tool, always ask what are the guardrails to make sure the information I'm going to get is real.
Absolutely. That and security are my two most, things that I watch out for, because the last thing you want is some well-meaning employee
Hmm.
putting proprietary information out on the web
Right.
that now everybody has
And
access
AI
to.
just share it with everybody.
Yeah,
Because the
exactly.
moment people do a search for your company, that's the first thing AI is going to tell them about you. And that's it, it's gone.
Exactly. No, I love it. This has been a great conversation. So I only have one question left
Please.
before we wrap up.
Yeah.
I would love to know, what's one secret that you wish you would have known starting out as an entrepreneur?
Wow, that is going to be this difficult.
I said the best for last. Best for last.
That it will be this difficult. Look, it's not for the faint at heart to be an entrepreneur. 9 out of 10 times, you're holding your breath about everything that you do every day. Failure is always in front of you every single day with every decision you make. And you have to know when to pull back and when to jump into the flames to make sure you don't get burnt. So being an entrepreneur is definitely a tough thing to do.
I couldn't agree more. The reward is definitely worth the risk most of the time, but it is not for the faint of heart.
It is
Eh,
not.
yeah. Well, that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I really
Yeah,
appreciate you
I've
being on.
enjoyed chatting with you. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you got to join us today. So, if our listeners would love to connect with you and learn more about what you're working on, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Well, they can reach me at myairobotics.com, and on that platform they can find all of our AI products, the student education product, the search engine, the sales product. They're all on myairobotics.com.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And
Thank
thank
you,
you to
Ella.
everybody for listening
Thank
to
you.
C-Suite Secrets.
Thank you.
If you found today's conversation as valuable as I have, be sure to follow the show and share with somebody else who's building a business. And if you want
Absolutely.
more tips on how to grow your business between episodes, join us at C-Suite Insiders on Facebook. And until next time, keep growing. And remember, you don't have to do this alone.